you know, we were still here. Did the rapture happen? Did y'all see anybody get taken up in the sky? Anything crazy like that? I think we might be I think we might all be going to hell. I'm not gonna lie, bro. Maybe the rapture happened, right? But nobody went up because nobody's going to heaven. Y'all not think about it. Y'all not thinking about it like that, right? Maybe the rapture happened, but we were all asleep when it happened.
If you're watching this right now, it means one and one thing only. You've officially missed the rapture. Your sins caught up to you and you didn't make the bus to heaven. Whether that was you stealing gum from the front of the register thinking the cashier wouldn't notice, gooning to maximum capacity while your ancestry line watched in horror, and the world has officially turned to hell. You didn't really need a rapture to realize that, let's be honest. Wars happening every month, countries getting burned to the ground every other week, the country of Israel, Labubus, it was bound to implode on us eventually. But first we gotta start where this
Now, why is Labubus always the fucking common denominator, bro?
all came from and where every biblical accuracy always comes from. TikTok. Before that too, I also want to explain what the rapture even is for people that aren't Christian or just may not know it. The rapture is the belief in Christianity that at the right time, Jesus will come back and take all his believers from earth to heaven. And there's supposed to be some major signs happening on earth that it may be happening soon. One being increased wars, famines, and natural disasters. A decline of morals and people becoming more greedy and violent. A rise of the Antichrist, whether that be Trump, Mr. Beast, or Caillou. I mean, we fit right in the description for it.
Don't you think, though, that life kind of moved in an opposite direction, though? Because back then we had, what? The Crusades, we had World War I, World War II. Shit was so much more crazy than what it is now. Now, yeah, it's still crimes and shit going on. Obviously, that stuff will always happen. But I would argue that times right now are significantly more peaceful than what it's been back all the way in biblical times, bro. It's worse today. No, it's not. How is it worse today? How is it worse today, bro? I'm talking about a widespread war like the Crusades? Come on, gang. Colonization? Come on, gang. Come on, bro. Look at the wars outside of the U.S. I mean, obviously, bro, y'all act like I said the world is peaceful, and we just la 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 la, we just skipping through, and you are my and we just, you know what I mean? No, obviously there's gonna be problems, but I'm saying right now, compare the Crusades. Let's go back to medieval times. Compare that shit to right now. Do you think it's more atrocities going down back then? Where morality was, there was so much gray area with that shit, or now? Let's keep it a buck. Come on, bro. The crusade wasn't worldwide, is what I meant. Yeah, but like it's not shit happening. Like, is it worldwide wars going down right now? Like, I think it's a few. Isn't it just a few wars? Isn't it like two wars going on right now?
Happen anytime soon. I do think it's funny though that you can fit a lot of these things in basically any time in humanity. And look, as y'all know, I am a Christian, I am a believer. But if you think this time we're in right now is even close to how bad certain times were in the past,
thank you! I literally just said that. Oh my god. Thank you.
someone from the 1930s would be begging to come to this time. They had the Great Depression, the rise of Adolf, Stalin purging his whole country, the Spanish Civil War. Meanwhile, our 2030s is going to be filled with consumerism with AI robots that work half the time. One of the first things they tell you in Christianity, though, is that no human being will be able to know except God when it's gonna happen. There's also sectors of Christianity that believe people completely misinterpreted what was said and the actual rapture people imagine isn't ever gonna happen. It was more metaphorical. But even in sectors that do believe it, there are multiple verses stating this, one being Acts 1:7, which says,
see, my thing is this, right? Let's say if the rapture was real, right? Wouldn't it make more sense for you not to know when it is so that your faith is actually tested? Because if you give somebody a date of when the fucking rapture's happening, it's like preparing for a vacation. Like, if I knew the world was going to be destroyed in, like, let's say a month, obviously I'm going to get down on my knees and confess my belief in God. Do you know what I mean? That doesn't that take away the fun in it?
When the disciples asked Jesus about the timing, he said, "It is not for you to know the times or dates the Father has set by his own authority." You can't get more clear than that. He basically said, shut up and wait, little bro. So I don't know why people on TikTok or in general are just believing in a random rapture date that someone gives. I think the only way they consume the Bible is if an AI gives them a short summary of it. The reason this one got so big was because a South African preacher named Joshua McKellar went on an interview and said he had a vision of Jesus, and he straight up told him that the rapture is going to happen on the 23rd to
source, bro. Just trust me. See, this is one of my pet peeves with religion, right? If you say some bullshit under the guise of religion, people will always believe it. You could convince anybody, even, bro, if you could take the same situation, make it religious, people will convince themselves to believe it. But if you take the whole religious aspect out of it, they would not buy that shit. You get what I'm saying? That's crazy.
24th of this September. And well, I'm writing this video on the 23rd, which is one of the days he gave, and nothing's happened. And I'm gonna be editing this on the
bro. I just had a vision last night that God told me the rapture is gonna be happening. Like, man, what? Nobody would believe shit I had to say. Like, come on, bro. Like, people deadass believe anything, especially from these pastors. Bro, do you know how much they be finessing people? It's crazy, out of money and all that shit.
24th of September, which is the last day. Meaning if it doesn't happen in that time frame, he's a fraud. Shocker.
You're 100% confident.
100% does not do it for me. I'm a billion% sure.
So I've seen Jesus on the in 2018, and he gave me the rapture date of the 23rd and the 24th of September, and I did not die.
We need an update on him. What is he doing right now?
You know, so I'll be doing a live in this channel, Medic for Christ. Medic for Christ will be, what do you call it, corresponding.
Yes. Just what we needed in the rapture. Somebody streaming it for everybody else on earth who are burning in eternal hell to be caught up on it. Maybe they can give some subs to make it to heaven. People on TikTok have absolutely zero research ability. I think they gotta implement community notes like they did on Twitter to combat misinformation, because this is just insane. It would take you like 2 seconds to skip to any part of this interview with this guy and realize he's insane. And he's doing it just to get clout for his YouTube channel. Like, who the f shouts out their YouTube channel if the rapture's gonna happen? Gang, you're not gonna need it anymore. I'm sure people on earth will notice people floating up all of a sudden. And his prediction comes from a video on YouTube of this random channel interviewing him on a podcast. It's not even like he's some established pastor around the world that has predicted multiple things. Bro just popped up on an interview and people assumed he was one of Jesus' disciples. It got so big they created a whole movement with it, calling it Rapture Talk and Rapture Now on TikTok, where people of course had to do it.
Oh my god, bro. This literally like proves my point. People's comprehension skills are so ass, bro. Do you think like some of these millionaires and billionaires just... You think that some of these millionaires and billionaires just look down at people like, y'all are just so dumb and feeble-minded, bro? Because if I was a billionaire, I would definitely be looking down at everybody like some ants.
Away with their final things they wanted to leave on earth and to say their goodbyes. Yes. This one lady was kind enough to leave Bibles for the rest of y'all that stayed in hell.
Hey guys, all right. What did I do today?
My thing is, how do you know that you're not gonna get pulled? She's automatically assuming that she's just gonna get saved.
My home for the people that are left behind. Let me show you. I got these at the Dollar Tree.
These people really be like, they be looking at everybody. See, that's another thing that I don't like. A lot of these people who made these videos, it's like, you can kind of feel the condescending energy in the video. Yeah, for all the people that are just not gonna be saved, I'm totally gonna be saved. I got you some Bible. Don't worry, I got you some Bibles. Okay. You'll be down here. It's not too late. As long as you take this, okay? I was right, you were wrong. And I'm not, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I'm not religious in any aspect. To be honest with you, bro, I just never understood it growing up. I always asked a lot of questions, and I was like shunned and fucking, you know, I was always like disciplined for asking a lot of questions. And yeah, so like for me, I just never made sense. Like, why does like religion, the difference between religion and science is that science is based off evidence, right? And it's all about you proving why something is the way that it is, right? And if you know what I mean? And so with religion, it's all about faith. It's faith-based. You get what I'm saying? So why does religion have to involve me believing in some shit? Do you know what I mean? Why do I have to believe in it? Why can't it just be? Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, you have to believe. Like, it's like they have to convince you. I never understood that. If it is, then it is. There doesn't have to be, you know what I mean? Like, why do you have to convince me that this is real? If it's real, it's just real. Faith means believing in something that isn't proven. So I don't believe in nothing that's not proven. I'm sorry. I don't believe in I'm skeptical of everything. I'm sorry. Yo! You know what I mean? And theoretically, right? If God brings me up and he was like, yo, like, and then you got to understand, it's thousands of religions, right? Thousands of religions. How am I supposed to, in one lifetime, how am I going to take the time to not only manage my life? I'm living in a capitalistic society, meaning I have to work to provide for myself, right? I have to have a craft. I have to get money. I have to do this. I have to manage my life. I have to manage my health. I have to do all this shit. Make sure I moisturize my skin and shit. I got to do all this shit. On top of trying to go through and decipher every thousands of these religions to accurately find out what the right answer is, because everybody's saying if you don't believe in this, you're going to hell and that everything else is wrong.
Hey, you looking sexy today?
You looking sexy today? Bro, Bosmic, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, it's all these religions, it's all these spiritual systems, and they all pretty much emulate the same thing. So how are you going to get mad at me when human beings, we're normally good with a handful of decisions? You put thousands of options on the table, bro. Look at this. How many religions are there? 10,000 religions. So you want me to go here and investigate and research 10,000 religions in order to make an accurate depiction? Come on, bro. That doesn't even make sense.
I just wrote these on here, like little notes.
And then y'all are saying, oh, follow Jesus. Jesus is the most reliable. Like, I don't want to disrespect anybody's faith, but you're proving my point. You're just assumption, belief. You know what I mean? That's your belief system.
I also bookmarked some scriptures. There's the scriptures for you.
These kind of videos make me feel kind of bad because she seems well-meaning.
Said you don't believe in God? No, I can say I don't know. I don't know. I do not know. And I don't think any of us are gonna know. It's a tale as old as time. I think human beings, we need faith in something inherently, because people like to have that answer. I think, bro, the way that the world is, I think the universe doesn't give a fuck about you. That's what I think. I think it's indifferent to you. And a lot of people find comfort in religion because they have community. They have community. Community is what helps ease a lot of these existential questions that you ask every day. Do you know what I mean? Everybody questions, damn, like, what's gonna happen afterwards? When you die, it's nothingness. You cease to exist. In the human mind, our whole experience is based off of existence. We can't comprehend nothing. Imagine nothing. You can't imagine it. You're gonna imagine a black screen of death. That's not nothing. Nothing would be as if you were never here. You get what I'm saying? But you can't imagine it. You can't interpret it. You feel me?
But it's so off the mark. It also shows how hopeless we are now because are just trying to leave already.
You know when you do something bad and deep down you know it's bad and it's your guilt on your heart? That's an emotion. That's human. Bro, you gotta understand, all that shit, good and bad, is human. That shit is all based off of a human effort. If a lion kills a gazelle, does it feel bad that it killed the gazelle? No, because it did what it had to do. Do you know what I mean? Like, but you know that it was wrong because you took the life of another animal, but that animal, he needed to eat. That lion needed to eat. You know what I mean? If somebody, bro, there's literally like ethics classes about all this shit, bro. You know what I mean?
See people like this, I know they have some trauma they never dealt with, and this is the road they end on.
And then explain colonization and people forcing their spiritual systems on other people and shit. That's a whole other thing. You know, eradicating traditional spiritual systems and trying to replace them with these modern religions, bro. And they do it with might. Because like I said, it's not self-evident. It's by belief. Why does there have to be a belief? That's what I'm asking, bro. You know what I mean? And then if God is real, who created God? Because if God was here since the beginning, who created him? How did God come to be? And I can just and why is that? No one. And why? Why is that? How did God come to be if he's just always been? How was he always there? Why is it God? Why is there not multiple gods? Because wouldn't it make sense for there to be multiple gods? Because one God always being there doesn't make sense. Wouldn't God be lonely? You know what I mean? And why would God create us? Let me ask you a question. How did God become God? Why is it just one God? How come I wasn't God? How did that God get picked to be God? It's a philosophy called skepticism. I think that might be me, bro. Right. How did that God become a God? These low-key kid questions, but that's kids, bro. Kids understood this shit though. That's how I was as a kid. We can't we can't comprehend it. God just works in mysterious ways. You just have to believe. It's like a Disney Channel thing. You just have to believe. God works in mysterious ways. Just trust me, bro. If you just have faith. Like, you did not answer a single question that I asked. You just told me, hey, fuck all the questions that you're asking, just believe it. Bro, so if you can't comprehend God, so how do you know what you know? You going through something? No, I'm just asking questions. You know what I mean? I'm just asking questions. You see? People get mad. You just have to fall in line with shit. You can't question shit. That's the problem, bro. I'm always asking questions. I'm always asking questions. And then let's say you're right? Ignore what I just said. You couldn't give me an answer to that. Now, let's move on to another question that I would always ask, right? Why would God, right? If God loves us unconditionally and he knows everything, right? He's omnipotent. He's this omnipotent being that has been around, that will be around, that knows the past, the future, the present, and everything, right? He's a beyond time. Why would he create the devil knowing, right, with his foresight that the devil would turn on him, right, and lead all of his creations to hell? If God really loved us, why would he create a hell in the first place? Wouldn't it make sense? Because we live in a logical world, right? This world operates and human beings operate on logic. So why wouldn't he just create heaven with all of his believers there and just save us all the time? Why do people have to go through a life of suffering and hardship and all these horrible atrocities? Religious people all loving and friendly till you tell them you don't believe. That's what I'm saying. And then they treat that shit exactly. And then they always so nice when it comes to trying to recruit you to join their shit. But then the moment that you tell them you don't believe, it's like, it's always a us versus them mentality, bro. Jesus himself had a hard life. See, I'm trying to be respectful. So let me ask you a question. Why would he even do all that? Why would God create a world when he can just create heaven with all the followers in it and just save the time and just save the headache? He doesn't want you to make the choice, and all he asks is that you... Okay, let me ask you a question, right? Because you didn't answer my question at all. He can do what he wants. You see? Do you see? You didn't answer any of my questions. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just saying this is lifelong shit. It's been like that since the very beginning of time. Nobody could ever answer my questions. Ever since I was a kid, I was asking these questions. I never got any of those answers. I agree, but I got my own personal experience with religion and its followers not bad at all. Though you got to understand, right? There is nothing wrong with religion. I'm not saying it's a bad thing to believe in anything, because you got to understand there is a lot of net positives for religion. You get a moral framework, you get a sense of community, you get a sense of faith, you get a sense of being a part of something, right? Nothing wrong with that. I think it's a net positive, but there's also a set of negatives associated with that, which is what this entire rapture situation shit is, because people just unconditionally, even if something, bro, you could prove that some of the things that you believe are wrong, just because it's under the guise of religion, you're told not to question shit. Because this shit is operated off faith, and that's how you get in a spiritual psychosis, bro. You know what I mean? If you read Revelations, it's a warning. Okay, that's another thing, right? Every fucking person will tell you to read their book. A Christian will tell you to read a Bible. A Muslim will tell you to read the Quran. A Jew will tell you to read a Torah. Everybody will tell you to read their book, right? But here's the thing. Without using your book, prove to me that the book that you have is real. Authenticate the book that you believe in without referencing the book. Reference to me why the book is real without using the book. Without using the book. Without using the book. You see? You can't even do that. So it's like, boom. I just listed a whole bunch of shit of why I can. No, you can't, because you didn't answer it. I said without using the book, without reference that book, go ahead. Authenticate the book without using the book. Go ahead. That's like me saying, okay, so Luffy, you got to understand, right? The reason why Oda is God is because Luffy was going down, he was living in the North Blue, right? No, in the East Blue. And you see there's water in the ocean. So Oda is referencing the water in One Piece, and I could say Naruto is real. I could say One Piece is real. I could say anime is real. If I reference a work of fiction and I correlate it to real life, then it's going to be real to me. Do you get what I'm saying? So before we even go into the book, you have to authenticate that the book is real.
Religion always has its religious fanatics that go off the deep end more than the average follower, which is why I really think those mega churches are so exploitative and disgusting. They take these people's traumas and have them come to their church where they act like they have all the answers. They can cure your broken foot by waving their hand over it because God personally gave them the power to do it. Then they end up buying—
I'm not gonna lie, that was Aura. That was actually Aura.
Broken foot by waving their hand over it because God personally gave
I'm the shit.
Them the power to do it. Then they end up buying mansions and private jets, all while none of their—
Someone said that's like saying prove to me that slavery existed without using a history book. We know that slavery is real. Why? I'm gonna let you answer that. Because it's such an obvious thing that I don't. If I have to explain that, if that goes over your head, then boom. You know what I mean?
Money gets taxed,
bro. Because of evidence. Because of lineage, because of all that shit, bro. You don't even need an eyewitness to tell that shit because there's photographic evidence. Let me show you this, bro. Let me show you this. Look at this. You can legitimately look. Why do you think we have documentation, bro? Look at this. There's legitimate devices. Do you know what a cotton gin is? You know what all this shit is, bro? There's music. Have you ever been to a museum? Y'all forget I'm from DC, bro. Well, I'm from Virginia, but I live right outside DC. There's museums. Have you ever been to a museum, bro?
We gotta talk about more how much that's a hack. Does the IRS even look into these type of churches? Kenneth Copeland famously cured COVID though, so I think he should keep his mansions and jets.
COVID-19! COVID-19! Burn!
This gotta be the Antichrist. I refuse to believe this man is a real preacher. There's not a single interview you'll see with him where his face looks comforting at all. Africa, funnily enough, has a ton of these—
that boy from Arlington talking about he from DC. I'm not from Arlington. That's one. Two, if you ever been outside of the fucking DMV, bro, you know that people don't know what Arlington is. They're gonna be like, are you from Texas?
Type of false preachers where they kind of just say and people believe it. And over there, it's way more likely in less developed parts for people to believe whatever the pastor says. When I say they can say anything...
Bro, in the first century, there wasn't a documentation. Let me show you some shit. So we have mummies, full-blown mummies, tombs, all this shit, right? They inspect this shit all the damn time, but we don't have not one lick of anything else. Researchers discover Egyptian mummies smell nice. We have full-blown mummies and tombs and artifacts. Come on, bro.
They can say anything, which is why you got people like Joshua pop up so often over there. There's this one famous clip where a preacher said, if you don't see him in heaven, you're in hell.
If you get to heaven, write this down, you get to heaven and you don't find me there, you have gone to hell. That's
I'm gonna be honest, I wish I had this level of confidence to lie and bullshit like this.
Nah, that's crazy, bro. That's crazy, bro. And then I got like hella questions about heaven. Do they got video games out there?
I don't think they ever wonder what's actually gonna happen when their time comes to an end. Like when they gotta confront God and tell him why they lied on his name. Yeah, my bad with all that fake preaching, and I know that's a crazy mortal sin to do. But do you mind if I go through the gate still? It's crazy how far they come though, and how their churches keep growing and growing. It's not like Kenneth Copeland woke up one day being a mega church pastor with a $300 million
Wasn't he like a singer?
net worth. He had to gain trust from a large public sector. There was also another big rapture day predicted back in 2011, which makes it funnier that people believe the one now. And that one, as you can guess, completely failed because we're still on Earth. Harold Camping, who was a Christian radio broadcaster and owned an entire radio network, which on average had 2 to 3 million listeners.
You know what I'm thinking about him.
At a certain point, started his own prediction of the rapture date, saying it was gonna happen on May 21st, 2011.
Oh my God. Do y'all remember 2012, bro? That shit was more believable than all the shit going on right now, bro. Nah, I remember being in history class freshman year, bro. And we were sitting there genuinely believing that shit was gonna happen, bro. Like, we were like, and why are we still going to school? My mom was still sending me to school. Like, bro, it's the last few days. They saying the world is gonna end and you still sending me to fucking school? Oh my God, bro. Looking back, that's crazy. Like, you couldn't have at least let me enjoy. Like, you don't even know what my mental state is these next 2 days, bro. Come on, bro.
Of course, people believed it. In fact, I think misinformation was even worse back then. Like, we know it's bad now and spreads quicker, but we have ways to combat it quickly. At that time, people had limited reach for things they could communicate with, and it was still less common. You can see the moments recorded when people realized it was a lie and fake and their whole world was shattered.
A little let down. I went on a spending spree, went out, partied hard last night. Didn't work out. Now I gotta go get a few more hours.
Yeah, so for the people that said without having phones and social media we were better at interpreting information, that was 100% false. The difference between him and Joshua though is that he had money to do it. So he went out buying billboards and doing all types of advertising to
Bro, he turned this shit into a promo run for his radio.
Tell people it was happening. Driving around cars to advertise that the day was coming. Imagine believing in another faith or being an atheist and seeing something.
Use that shit as promo. That's evil.
Something like this. You probably just looked at it for a second, then continued on with your day. And just like with the most recent rapture,
there was a movie about that shit. That movie was horrible, but it was still a movie.
People took it and ran with it. People sold their cars and quit their jobs, which I don't understand the car part.
Yeah, bro, my thing is, to all those people that sold their shit, right? Why, if you know the world is ending, why would you give a fuck to even sell it? Why not just let it be? That doesn't even make sense. The world won't be around anyways. That's not your problem, right?
Because it won't really matter if you're going to heaven if you sell your car. Like, those dollars ain't gonna get you in heaven. Everything's gonna be free. Unless they got vending machines up there, and if you're unholy, you're gonna have to pay for things. Once the day came and nothing happened, he did apologize for the mistake, but the damage was done. I don't understand why these preachers ruin their whole careers over fake rapture dates like this. Especially since he was well established. He could have ran things like normal day to day and made good money until he died. But he wanted a viral moment and cooked his company, which eventually shut down. No one's gonna believe anything you say after lying on something this huge. Going back to Joshua though, apparently now he has a brand brand new vision of the rapture? How is he getting all these visions every day? You would think he's God's right-hand man. If he keeps milking due dates of a rapture and somehow still makes money, he's got the method. I don't know how anybody's never thought of that before. You could come up with a new date and say God gave you a new vision of a different date. Then you could say the old date was wrong,
and then people would still believe it
the whole time, and God was just practicing how devoted you are.
The Lord is going to clarify, you know, He's going to clarify everything, because some people do think that I'm deceived or I've seen something else but not Jesus. Rapture me to heaven. This was a couple of years ago. And, you know, I went in a dream and moved to the location where God wanted me to be. And when I was there, an angel, not Jesus, but an angel came with a chariot.
Bro, this is something straight out of Cinderella. Was he in a dress and had glass slippers too? He's describing the experience like how movies portrayed in Hollywood.
I was taken, and I was in this chariot, and it started to fly right up.
Bro, me when I'm on the phone with my Nigerian scammer and he trying to take my fucking credit card information.
Up to the sky with me, and I could see the blue sky, you know, and I could feel the joy because I knew that I was going to heaven. But then it happened that while I was feeling the joy, before we could go through the sky into space, I started to feel a sadness within me. And this time I had not come out with the message. I started to feel a sadness within me. And this sadness was because in the dream, in that moment, while I was being raptured, I had not told people that I know the day Jesus is coming to rapture the church.
This whole scenario sounds hilarious because how was he getting sent to heaven and then told God's angels, no, you must stop.
Bro, he's got he literally got main character energy, bro. This is crazy. This video is called TikTok's Failed Rapture.
I must tell people on earth when the time is. Man, there is no human...
I wish people would have sent me some bread. What? If I knew somebody that was going to do this, I'd be like, yeah, bro, like, I don't think I'm going to go. Like, I'll hold on to your money. Like, oh my God, bro. Imagine, there was somebody who, like, sold a car, right? There was somebody who, like, sold their car. And when he realized the rapture wasn't happening, he wanted his car back. And the dude said, why are you hitting me up? Oh, he was sick.
Being that could stop an angel from doing its task. And I love how it's a dream now. There's multiple interviews where he said it's a dream, then a vision, then a real experience where he's personally met Jesus. Jesus must really hate his ass to keep sending him back here though. You got people on TikTok now coping that it hasn't happened and are coming up with alternative
I think he has religious psychosis. I think he might need to go see a therapist, bro.
Reasons to why it hasn't. This one dude's new excuses because it's Rosh Hashanah hasn't ended, which is the holiday for Jewish New Year. And by the time you're watching this, it's probably ended.
Let not your heart be troubled. Ye believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house are many mansions. Like, I know this is going to happen. Please, everything, and I tell you guys, everything is pointing towards this date. We still have time. And
Bro, it's like they want the world to end so bad, bro. Yo, Rack, what's good? They want this shit to end so bad because truth is, they hate their lives. He probably hates his life. He's looking forward to, you know what I mean? Thank you for the gifts. He's looking forward to, Jorge, thank you for the GGs, man. Thank you. He's looking for the, you know what I'm saying? He wants to go to heaven because he hates his life. I know I worded that bad, but I'm saying like he's making it seem like his life is just the worst shit in the world, gang.
the Lord is continuously sending me signs, yo. Like, guys, like, truthfully, I'm telling you guys, man.
I'm telling you guys, man. Just believe me. I'm telling you guys.
Being raptured and McDonald's being your last meal is nasty work. You wouldn't want to go all out and get the most exquisite dinner on your final day? Anyways, that's gonna be it. Let me know what y'all think about this. We honestly got an all-star coming together and talking about what we're gonna do now that we're left behind to survive. Follow me on Twitter.
And nah, this was a banger, bro. I need to see update videos from all the people that were telling us to believe in this shit, bro. I'm not gonna lie.